Hey everyone, we have Zac here. I'm George, and this is not late breaking news, but we're talking about Stan Lee, passed away very recently, and going to kind of cover a couple subjects on the matter, and talk about the happy times. So we'll start with me. Me first.
That's you, yeah.
Let me go first. So, what we're going to talk about first is our favorite cameos from the movies.
Right.
And I actually had two.
Okay.
And it was an obvious one for a long time until about a month ago. So,
okay.
my original favorite Stan Lee cameo was The Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
Andrew Garfield one, and there's a scene where Stan Lee is in a library and is listening to music.
Right.
It's like classical music, and then all of a sudden the Lizard and Spider-Man bust in, and they're just wrecking the joint. And then a table gets tossed, and Spider-Man webs it and just barely prevents Stan Lee from getting cut down.
Yeah.
And I laughed really hard.
Right. Yeah.
And Stan Lee completely walks away from the entire thing out of the library without even knowing that it had happened. Absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And then, a really, I don't know if it's close second or tied for first, whatever, but he had a cameo in Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Oh yeah.
And
that was
And I was not expecting a Stan Lee cameo in that movie, which is kind of why it threw me off. I didn't really wasn't interested in seeing the movie. I didn't like Teen Titans Go. I won't get into that. But I did see the movie, and the movie surprised me. I liked it, and then the Stan Lee cameo really capped it off for me. That was hilarious, and he literally says, "I don't care if this is a DC movie. I just love cameos."
Right.
And, it brought a smile to my face, and that's what it was meant to do. So.
Yeah.
What was your favorite cameo in a Spider-Man film?
Well, I actually also have two.
Excellent.
Yes. One is just because I thought it was a great scene in my head canon. I've kind of expanded it, but in I believe it was Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's where he's sitting on an asteroid or whatever with the Watchers. And he's basically talking about himself and I don't know. It's in my head canon. It's to me, it's the fact that he's been in all these different Marvel movies,
and different universes.
Yeah, exactly. To me, he's basically a Watcher in disguise, and that's why he always shows up in all these different videos. And that's just me. That's just in my head. That's nothing official. But to me, it just makes all of his different cameos that much more enjoyable.
I do believe that is what they were trying to imply, is that Stan Lee is omnipresent, and that is why. That's what it looked like. And maybe they've confirmed that or not confirmed it. I don't know or care. I do believe that's hopefully what they were going for.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful scene. You are correct. What's your number two then?
The number two scene was actually it became one of my favorites recently when we were actually talking about it. Once I found out, once you explained the history, the reasoning behind it, was with Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Ah.
When
that's his favorite cameo.
He has good taste. He was. That was basically a tip of the hat to an episode or an issue of the actual Fantastic Four comic book where Sue and Reed were getting married, and him and
Jack Kirby.
Jack Kirby. I was going to say Steve Ditko, but I knew that wasn't right. Jack Kirby were going to attend their wedding in the comic book, but they were turned away at the door. And that's a little tip. Yeah, that was a little tip of the hat to that issue, and the fact that he was in the movie as himself.
Yeah.
It's just I mean, say what you will about the movie itself, but that was a very fun and a very fun scene and one of my favorite cameos. So
right on.
but I mean, this is a guy that's been in the spotlight for decades, and done a lot of creative things, and it's really, I mean, it's almost impossible to describe his kind of impact that he's had on the industry, and comics.
While driving to the comic book store today,
Okay.
I think I thought about it really well, and had a couple drinks, so hopefully I can verbalize it right. But I'm thinking about the creation of Superman,
Right.
and the creation of Batman, and the creation of a bunch of other characters. All right, Green Lantern, The Flash, and then, but so many of those characters are not even close to what they were when they were created.
Just because they've changed?
Just because they changed, or they weren't that good when they started out. Whatever happened, they're damn near unrecognizable.
Okay, right.
All of Stan Lee's creations are recognizable today. And
as what they originally came out as.
Because he didn't just create the Hulk, or Iron Man, or Spider-Man, or the Avengers, or the X-Men. He created their universes.
Right.
He created everything about them and made it possible for other creators to expand upon it.
Right.
And to me, that is the difference between Jerry Schuster and Siegel and Bob Kane and Bill Finger and all these other creators. Is, Batman, when he was first created, was a gun-wielding vigilante that would hang mentally ill people off of the Batwing and drop people in acid and kill them. And his character now is 100% different than that.
Right.
And Superman, when he was created, didn't fly. And
didn't he used to kill when he first came out?
Yeah, he wouldn't just go running around.
I mean, he wasn't like for example, Batman. I mean, there's you go back to the original comics, and some gangster is looking out the window, and Batman swings by, kicks him in the head, and breaks his neck that way.
That's how you do things.
That's how you take care of problems. But I mean, like Superman wasn't to that extent, but
but Stan Lee didn't just create the character and walk away from it.
Right.
He stayed involved in it. He created universes. The list on Wikipedia, he created. He created. I'm flipping through the list here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he did create Thor, correct?
In comic books, yes.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's actually part of my point here is that his creations are so immensely popular for someone like Thor, for example, who actually exists in Norse mythology. That was the source material. There's a lot of things that are different between the actual Norse mythology and what was created in the comics. Yeah. And I'm willing to bet that unless somebody is a theologian in Norse mythology or something, pretty much anybody's knowledge about Thor and Loki and Odin is going to be coming from Marvel Comics.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's just the kind of impact that he had.
I'm going to go through this list a little bit here.
Okay.
All right. This is all just in alphabetical order. I'm getting it off of Wikipedia. Ant-Man, the Avengers, Beast from the X-Men, Black Widow, Black Panther, the Blob, Black Panther, Peggy Carter, Sharon Carter, Doctor Doom, Dormammu, Doctor Strange. You know Doctor Strange? Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Electro, one of Spider-Man's villains. Bless you. Falcon.
Thank you.
The Fantastic Four and all the characters that are in Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Kingpin. Nick Fury. Galactus. Silver Surfer. The X-Men. So all the original X-Men. Jean Grey. Professor X, Cyclops, Beast, Angel. Yeah. The Incredible Hulk. Spider-Man. and also Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane and Captain Stacy and J. Jonah Jameson, and like I'm saying, like he's not just creating these one characters and then off to the next one. Like no, he stayed there and built their universe, and their universe is still relevant in the comic books and the movies today. And to me, that's my favorite part about his life. Is he talked about this, that he was jealous of DC Comics for their Superman, the original Superman movie, and then Batman with Michael Keaton in '89. Like they had some big movies, and he was always jealous of that. And he was so excited when Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out. His character was now on the big screen, and he got to see a ton of those movies, and not see them, but also be a part of them all.
And see, that's also part of it, though, is that I mean, like he created these characters that he actually did get to see, not just brought to life, not just some cheesy '70s show in the '70s or something, but
there were some of those too.
Well, yeah, there were some of those. Don't get me wrong, yes, there were, but I mean, done so in an accurate way, done so that what he had in his head was actually brought to the big screen. I mean, just to see your creations come to life like that, I'm at a loss for words for it. Yeah. It's an amazing accomplishment, and I'm just glad that he was able to see that happen.
Also, everyone he got to inspire, everyone that started working in the business that he laid down a lot of track for, that came after him. Yeah. All taking inspiration from him, expanding upon his ideas. Just an awesome life and an awesome legacy, an awesome man.
Absolutely.
And that's the pinnacle right there. That I mean, he didn't invent the first superhero. He didn't write in the first comic book, but comic books, I doubt they would exist today if it was not for him. And that's shit, man.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I don't think I can add anything more to that. I mean, just the all-encompassing scope of his imagination and his creations. I mean, they've probably touched every aspect of the world. In some way, I mean, granted, they might be minute ways, but in some form or another. There's I'm sure that there are people that went into the police force or something because they were inspired by things that were in there, or some people that inspired to become a scientist because of the Fantastic Four or what have you. I mean, an amazing man, an amazing imagination. Just flat out amazing.
I also really loved his cameo in Mallrats.
Mallrats. That was another good one. Yeah. That was, you know what? Now he's the Watcher in that one too.
Nope, there you go.
I'm bringing it into the Marvel universe. Yeah.
You've been informed.
Yeah. It would be nice if Kevin Smith actually came out and said that. He's like, you know what? We're gonna do it.
No, but hey, Stan Lee, that's our dude right there. He will be missed, but what a legacy he has left, and think about this. He can autograph any comic book.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that say Marvel on it.
Right.
But if Jim Lee from DC Comics autographed a comic book that he hadn't done the art for, he had nothing to do with it. It's not the worst thing that could happen to that comic book, but
you could
Stan Lee could just walk around, he'd go to a comic book store with a Sharpie and just
he just starts randomly signing.
That would be but that would work. And that's how amazing he was. So I think that left us all with a smile here. Which I'm really glad because I was going to say that and I forgot what I was going to say, and then I was stalling and letting you talk, and it came back to me.
Thank you for letting me ramble.
No, but it brings joy to our heart to think about Stanley.
Yeah.
And sorry to see him go, but 95 years old, hell of a 95 years.
Yeah.
So, what you going to do with your 95 years, Internet? Probably not Stan Lee shit.
Yeah.
But hey, with that being said, cheers to Stan Lee.
Absolutely.
Salute. Have a good night.